We are back. We are back, everyone. And I've got Teo Rogers. Teo, who just walked us through an encounter with the ancient civilization in Assassin's Creed. He's going to talk to us
Yeah.
about his research in that sort of world of ancient astronaut ideology, but also some other stuff that he got into a little bit on during our gameplay segment. That is to say, Teo, are you ready for your interview to start?
Yeah. Yeah,
Let,
let's do it.
let's go. All right. So this
Ooh.
is we start off these with a big one, but how you talked about this a little bit too. Talked about this as to talk about like what you do ask in fieldwork and what you don't, but how do folklorists talk about belief?
Yeah, that's like it's an interesting question and um and kind of one that's been with the discipline since its inception.
Hmm.
Yeah, 'cause like it kind of follows a similar trajectory as like most of what we talk about with folklore. It started with these beliefs being collected and indexed and stuff. And then we moved on into
Yeah.
the how do beliefs appear in context, and where I kind of fall in with this is what do we mean when we talk about beliefs as like these concrete things? So yeah, I'm like my advisor for my thesis like wrote this article on like it's called like there is no belief, only believing. Like
Hmm.
he kind of suggests that we move away from using that word belief and switching to believing while acknowledging that it's kind of clumsy. But yeah, like I'm kind of the same opinion because like belief is such an ambiguous word. Like you regardless of like how we use it and of in our papers or in our work or whatever. Because it can mean it's so encompassing a term that like it can mean so many different things for the aims of what you want to
Yeah.
talk about in your thing. So yeah, I kind of prefer that, and it's part of like why I try to avoid using the word in like a more scholarly thing, like because I just think there are like you can kind of operate on the word itself and like see how you want to use it in the context of what you're writing, like, and what you mean by it. So for me, um I use belief as like under the rubric of belief I would use like knowledge and ideology, especially for my thesis, and my work on ancient aliens and stuff. So like that's like where it kind of overlaps with belief, like for my own stuff. So yeah.
So I have a comment first and then like a follow-up question. The comment being uh that reminds me the belief versus believing reminds me a lot of like ethnomusicologists and musicologists talking about musicking. However, it might even be cooler because believing is already a word we use and musicking is
Yeah.
kind of like forcing a gerund. Um
Yeah, for sure.
so I guess my question is, can you talk a little bit more about like the interrelations between ideology and knowledge that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, not knowledge and ideology, like you can talk about Foucault and stuff. Like I haven't
Yes, let's do it.
I I unfortunately haven't read like that. I've read Foucault like mediated, I guess. Like especially
You
in
got to
like
just dive right in.
yeah, no, I want to. Like he's on my reading list. But yeah, and I've watched like videos on his like major concepts and stuff. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, knowledge and ideology, like where they interact and like a community, and that's like for folklorists you can go into the community especially to like see how those two connect. So yeah, like you can like the knowledge that you create within the confines of a community like will follow like the essential values of like what that community holds dear to itself. and like also like in terms of what's already appeared on that, and with as those appear on like a digital platform, it's easier to like go in and perform some kind of archaeology
Hmm.
on that, because it's just out there in the open. But it's the same with like with in-person field work as well. So yeah, you can knowledge in that sense like is kind of molded by the overarching ideologies of a group. um and yeah, and it's kind of a circle in that vein too, like yeah, like with ancient alien stuff, like knowledge is not as contained as it would be in a more scientific circle. Like there are fewer boundaries that you can kind of trample over, I guess, and like the boundaries aren't as firm as they are in the sciences. And so that's like that's part of what kind of constitutes the ideology too, is like they're saying like, oh, our group does science better, and it's like
Hmm.
it's freer and like more open-minded than the stuffy lab, or like what the professors are saying when they mean science. So
Yeah,
so yeah, yeah, it's an interesting connection between the two for sure.
I want to keep asking you just about that, but we could be here all night, so I'm just gonna
Yeah,
DM you later because I find that
yeah,
so fascinating. Also,
for
hey,
sure.
you, Teo, if you or anyone else out there wants a video about Foucault, there's the $5 Patreon video. This for the, dropping at the end of August is going to be about explaining Neon Genesis Evangelion and Weezer with Foucault. But
Oh man,
that is neither here nor there.
I'll be looking forward to that
Hell
though. That
yeah,
sounds
we've
cool.
Daisy
Yeah.
Daisy a shield properly.
Yes, it's very good. A slightly more concrete question from the chat, or do you want me to save it?
Save it, save it. I like it.
Okay,
Save
I'm
it.
saving. Got you, new guy. I'm saving that
All right.
question.
Yeah, I like
All
that a
right.
lot. So, what are some of like the folkloric origins of like ancient pre-astronautic euphemisms? Did I read that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the folkloric origins of these?
Yeah, it's like it's really hard to say, like as it is with like anything historical, like where you can trace the folkloric stuff to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like where we can find like for sure something we can point to and say, oh, these are the origins of this, is like in the middle of the 19th century, especially, is
Oh.
when yeah, so that's when that was like the heyday of like the theosophists and occult academic stuff. Like Edgar Cayce is a big name
Yep.
for ancient astronaut stuff. Ignatius Donnelly, like that. But also later, so yeah, they were the first people to really propose like, oh, Atlantis was the origin of where Egypt got its wisdom from, and other places too, like everything goes back to Atlantis. And so yeah, it starts with Atlantis in the 19th century. So yeah, it's building off of Plato ultimately,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then aliens start to show up like in a really concrete way in the early 20th century, in science fiction especially. So like Lovecraft was big on the movement as a whole.
Mm.
And there's another short story that's it's like called Edison's Voyage to Mars or something like that. Those are the first books that propose like the idea that aliens have visited us in our ancient past. Um, but those were like, by the author's own admission, strictly fiction. So yeah, and then yeah, they were not like trying to make any archaeological or historical claims to our past. But yeah, then when we move more into the middle of the 20th century is when like Eric von Daniken and Zechariah Sitchin, that's when they start to pop up in popular literature. And unfortunately, my man Rod Serling has a lot to do with ancient astronauts.
Really?
And yeah, like he he converted von Daniken's ideas into a documentary in the 70s, and that's what kind of kickstarted
Wow.
the craze in America. Yeah. So yeah, and then so yeah, that those are like its popular cultural origins. But with folklore, like it's again, it's hard to say like where its origins lie because it's the internet again like affords us kind of an unprecedented look into how folklore of this type circulates.
Hmm.
But I think if you were to ask someone uh like I think you can kind of say, like, the cultural memory of Egypt as a whole is like where people would point to for like any kind of uh, idealistic origin of ancient astronaut stuff, because that's been like the Egypt as an idea has really been circulating since since the ancient Greeks and probably earlier as like with ancient Israel too. So yeah, like if when we point to like the Exodus story as a charter myth or something
Hmm.
like that, you can say like that's an origin of like a folkloric origin of ancient Egypt as
Sure.
like an enemy other or something. So yeah, within that long, like there's so much cool history about it, but for time's sake, like yeah, I can't get into it very specifically, but yeah, it's you can like within that web of cultural memory, you can like you can kind of speculate that people were like sharing stories about Egypt, like orally and stuff. But yeah, like in terms of strictly ancient alien, and Atlantis and stuff, you can look to the mid 1800s for sure.
The flow of information kind of between sort of uh like popular culture and like what you might even call like pulp fiction and folklore is very fascinating, the way you like
Yeah,
laid out that like very intertwined timeline there.
yeah. No,
This is
it's
oh sorry, go.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, it's like it's a really fascinating history, and like if anyone's interested in specific reading, I can give some recommendations later about it. But yeah, it all stems back to like Egypt as like this origin of occult wisdom is
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
its most universal characteristic for sure. So, and that's where ancient alien stuff comes from ultimately.
And I guess this isn't really a full question. It's more about like, are you prepared? Are you prepared for like people to incessantly ask you to explain the Eternals when that movie comes out?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, man, I have to read the comics too. But yeah, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it'll be a trip.
from the history I know of how the Eternals got written, you mentioned what was his name, Eric von Daniken.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jack
yeah,
Kirby was like an early Eric von Daniken, like acolyte, and he was like, "What if all of his writings was the backstory of the Marvel
yeah.
universe?" Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes total sense. Uh,
Um, let's I'm gonna move in some other topics real quick. This next one though, before I ask you a question about uh supernatural narratives in Basque regional identity and
I
nationalism, I think the first question I think I'd like you to explain for chat or for whoever who watches this on YouTube later is what is it? What are people identifying as when they identify as Basque?
oh man, it's so like objectively, like the Basque region is it's mostly in Spain, but there's
Hmm.
a small part of it in France. So yeah, geographically and politically, that's where the Basque region is. And obviously, like it's changed over history, like with France and Spain being different. And the Pyrenees are a great boundary between them. But if you get more into like the interesting like folk like when where folklore comes in, especially is like the perceived history of the Basque and like
Mm.
how they and of the Basque peoples and like how they identify as Basque, as you're saying, is like there's a common conception in the Basque country that they're the oldest residents of Europe, and like for
Interesting.
evidence of that, yeah, their language is like the only Indo-European language or non-Indo-European language
Yeah.
that's spoken in Europe. I can't Hungarian might I can't remember that, but yeah, anyway, so that's where they look at, and like philologists have like speculated, like because Basque, like a lot of Basque language is kind of rooted in like the earth and nature and stuff. So that's like one of the old arguments that Basque is an incredibly ancient language, and but yeah, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, it's so like with that like conception among Basque people, like it's a good way to build an identity,
Mm.
build a national identity from like and another part of that is that they've never been conquered before, like at least in their own understanding of it. Like there's a good popular book about this called The Basque History of the World that goes more into detail about this kind of thing. But what it's basically arguing is what I'm saying, like that throughout their history, there's never been one outright conqueror,
Yeah.
like from like from Celtic tribes to the Roman Empire or um uh uh yeah, to the Moorish caliphates, like nobody's touched the Basque really. Nobody's completely physically conquered them.
Hmm.
Spain has kind of changed that, but like regardless, that notion still holds like among the Basque people, and like there's this resilience that kind of is built from that the people feel like that's kind of encoded in what it means to be Basque. And you could see it in especially in like the more rural parts of the Basque country, like in the smaller towns. Like a great story like about that is under Spanish law in the town square they have to have the Spanish flag up. So some Basque towns get around that by having every flag from every country in the world up along with that. So it's pretty cool.
Oh my
But yeah,
god. That's so
yeah, it's
dramatic.
yeah. Oh, it's awesome. I respect the hell out of that, honestly. But yeah, it's just another. It's like the latest example of, or one of the latest examples of Basque identity and how it's continuing into the 21st century.
and
Um, yeah.
and also you know a little bit about supernatural narratives that like develop Basque identity too, right?
Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, that's a fun topic too. Yeah, so like the paper that I wrote about that kind of centers on the figure of the witch in Basque legends, collected Basque legends. Unfortunately, their like contextual origin is kind of unknown, uh, but that at the same time kind of it's kind of unnecessary for building that Basque identity, because like the witch is kind of this it kind of embodies this notion of resilience that's in the Basque that's in the Basque identity, because like in folklore and narratives and folk music and stuff, like the witch is always there and can never be like fully fully defeated, and so that was kind of the
Mm,
argument for me there is
that's
like
interesting.
yeah, and like she kind of lives in the parts of the Basque Country that kind of characterize it as different from the rest of Spain, because like most of Spain is really dry and flat, but the Basque Country is very mountainous. It
Hmm.
rains a lot there. There's a lot of forests there, and that's where all the witches live in the
Mm,
mountains and the caves and the woods and stuff. So yeah, like it embodies like this difference in the Basque people from the rest of Europe really, and for them at least. And yeah, so like you can kind of get at that in these kind of uh standardized, or not standardized, but like collected tales
yeah.
of witches in Basque folklore collections. So yeah, that's what I was kind of building off of for that paper. Yeah.
That's a real good answers for both parts of that. Real like
Thank you.
very rich context. I feel like I know
Yeah.
so much
Thank
more.
you.
If we
Yeah.
can shift back to another region on the peninsula that you mentioned earlier, um, can you talk a little bit about the Bestiary tradition in Catalonia?
Yeah. 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 So the bestiary tradition is like during Catalan festivals, people will kind of don these big costumes of different beasts. Like the more universal beasts are eagles and mules and dragons,
Hmm.
especially. But like going from town to town in Catalonia, you get like more regional beasts. Like one town has a mammoth because like some paleontologists discovered mammoth bones around that area. Other towns have ferrets because there's a lot of ferrets around there,
Oh, cool.
and weasels and stuff. So yeah, like those three universal ones you can find pretty much in most Catalan towns and villages, and in Barcelona. But yeah, they dress as these beasts and participate in the festival. Some of them have fire attached to them, like fireworks and sparklers and stuff. So yeah, that's a pretty cool thing to see. But apart from that, they also have a specific choreography that they abide by.
Mm.
So yeah, people dance with the beasts on, and they're really heavy and they're really hot. I got the chance to dance as an eagle at the Folklife Festival,
Oh,
and
cool.
like for only like a little lap. Man, it was hot and it was heavy, but it was also really cool, just like being a part of that.
Because I think
And
without seeing it, some people might think might picture like a mascot costume or something, but it's like way bigger than that, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'm trying to think of like a good analogy, but it kind of represents like uh the neighborhood that the beast belongs to,
Mm.
and like building them is a major community effort too, and like just being able to dance with the beast and seeing it going through your streets, it's like seeing your neighborhood just strolling on by
Aw.
and throwing fireworks into the air and stuff. But yeah, it's a really cool tradition, and they're accompanied by music
Hmm.
too, and like each of the beasts kind of symbolizes something different too. So there's a lot of different aspects to bestiary, that you can look at and analyze on their own, but like within the whole context of both the festival and the neighborhood from which they're coming from. So yeah, it's a really cool custom that I hope continues, and it is expanding more. I think
That's cool.
there's a great catalog for all of them. online. It's just called Bestiary .net, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can go. There's an interactive map there that you can go through each of the cities in Catalonia and see what, and there's little blurbs that tell you like what the beast means for the specific town and village it's coming from.
I
So yeah.
also saw that you say some people treat their beasts like pets.
Yeah, yeah, and like but that I mean it's like uh kind of the same, like it's kind of like an issue of neighborhood propriety. It's
Oh,
like
got it.
peop yeah, people just like view it again as like this smaller scale representation of their of where they're from.
Hmm.
And so yeah, people kind of respect it in that way and like and love it as well, like because it's kind of a collective pet, like a collective representation of who they are. So so yeah, it's cool that we got them to come to DC too,
Yeah.
because like it's a very different context from where they're normally used, but it was still cool to see it for
What year was
sure.
that? 2018.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome. Do you mind if we go into some funsy questions real quick?
yeah, totally.
All right. Speaking of pets, can we meet Grendel?
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me
You already teased the famous traveling hedgehog.
yeah. Let me grab him real quick.
Grendel!
Speaking of uh speaking of dragons, I guess Grendel's dad is a dragon. Daisy, you got some questions queued up, right?
I do. I've got a couple of them.
Can I ask?
I'm trying to
Can I
find.
ask two fun questions and then cut to you for some chat questions?
Yes, I'm trying to find. I was trying to find their Instagram so I can like hook people up with this beautiful traveling hedgehog.
I bet he'll make it happen. I bet he'll make it happen.
I think so too.
All right, get ready, chat.
Teo, what is your Hedgie's Insta?
All right, we got hedgehog on stream alert.
Hedgehog on stream.
Hedgehog
Let's
on
go.
stream
Grendel
alert.
follows Flexitron93 on Instagram. Oh, okay. Death Loris, you already got it for me. Thank you.
She's good for it too.
Oh
All right.
yeah.
I'm back. Yeah.
Everybody
Hello,
follow.
hello. Look at this little.
Oh
look at
my
this little. Here
gosh.
comes the boy.
Here
Hey
he
boy,
is.
welcome.
I got it.
Hi.
He's
So,
so
All right.
cute.
how long?
I
How
have
long have the?
1,000
Oh my God,
I
he's
have
so
1,000
cute.
Grendel questions.
How long have you and Grendel been hanging out? Been a team.
Man, it's been 3 years now. It's
Oh.
about to be 3 years. Yeah, yeah. We got him.
Bits for pets. You know how this works.
Yeah, yeah. He's a feisty little guy. We actually name him nickname him David Hufford sometimes. Because
Aww.
he huffs and puffs
Aw.
like a dragon.
my
Because
gosh.
he's the terror that comes in the night.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
Okay.
he has a wheel in his cage that that he runs around on at night, and he can get pretty loud. So yeah,
Oh
we
my
do
God.
we do like to call him that.
Is he albino or leucistic? I'm getting
Uh,
dog cam too.
I'm not sure honestly. He's an apricot colored.
Oh.
He does have red eyes, but yeah, he's I don't think he's either of those, but yeah, it might be.
Chad is asking if
Uh,
he's an African hedgehog.
yes, he is. Yeah,
Good call.
yeah,
Good call, Wasteland
yeah,
Shaman.
yeah.
So cute.
Can I
Most
ask a
hedgehogs
question?
are African hedgehogs.
Can I ask? Well, Sonic's from like America. He's got that accent. And he loves chili dogs. Can I ask a question? I don't know if this is all hedgehog people or just like the ones I've met. What, like dogs? You could say like dogs and cats, respectively, both have their own like kind of internet dialect when you're like posting as your dog or your cat, like here human, you know. But I've also like. My friends with hedgehogs have a very specific hedgehog dialect that they post in when they're like embodying their hedgehog on the internet. Is
Yeah.
that is that true for you too, or is that just my weird friends in Indiana?
I mean, yeah, my wife runs his account, and she kind of like projects her voice onto Grendel,
Nice.
and like in her own unique and very special way, and like it's yeah, she kind of describes his doings on over his travels, so yeah, he
Go
yeah
follow
he
that
she
account.
she has a very eloquent way with words. So yeah, she's really funny, and yeah, she writes good summaries for Grendel as we're traveling the country.
um,
um,
I
oh, oh, sorry, I should mention too that I'm part Basque, and part Spanish too. So
yes.
so yeah, it means yeah, it's something very personal to me to
I
like be able to like work with Basque folklore and Catalan folklore at
I
the
could
same
tell
time.
it was very personal the way you were like describing it. It was so
Yeah.
it was close to home. Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
'cause yeah, I might show my grandpa this,
Oh,
'cause
good.
he's the Basque one in the family, and
Mm.
yeah, he would appreciate reading or listening more to how Basque being Basque gets kind of expressed in folkloric
Yeah.
practices. So yeah.
I'm Teo's grandpa. I'm glad I could help. Hello.
Oh, good.
Glad I could help when this video comes out on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I got another fun question.
Cool, cool.
Um, as a folklorist and Egyptologist, can you give me the elevator pitch as to why Assassin's Creed Origins is good? Actually,
Oh man. Well, it's the best it's the most interactive map that you can go to Egypt with, and especially for the exploration mode. So yeah, like if you're a big nerd about Egypt, like I am, I would recommend that a lot. But apart from that, like it's cool to see history reimagined in Assassin's Creed, aside from the ancient alien stuff. But that kind of conflicts with being a folklorist because that's like arguably the biggest folkloric part of the game. Um,
mm-hmm.
like with because like the other stuff is kind of like it's like wants to be rooted in history, and like it I think it does like a decent job at it. Like obviously it takes some liberties,
Yeah.
but it's a Assassin's Creed, so like it has to kind of stick with the narrative as weird as it might be, but yeah, it's like it is good if you just want to like explore Egypt, you know.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll get you on that.
that's my favorite part of it.
Somebody in chat said History Reimagined is a very generous description of Assassin's Creed. What if I'm telling you what he meant was capital H History, meaning the History Channel? Now
Ooh,
he seems
yeah.
smart. Daisy, you got speaking of chat, you got some fun questions from chat.
Yeah, I got a couple questions from chat. I guess I'll ask these in order. So, New Guy Neighbor asks, to get more concrete, does the film Prometheus origin story hold any water?
This is. Do you remember
Today.
he asked this when Robert Geiger was on the stream? This is the second time he's asked
Yeah,
about
it's
the
the
movie
second time he's
Prometheus.
asking about Prometheus. It's really funny.
Oh man. I mean,
Yeah.
the short answer is no, and the long answer is also no. I
Destroyed.
mean,
Destroyed.
there's water in it, but that's about
There's
It
it.
doesn't
water
hold it.
inside. Doesn't
It
hold it.
doesn't hold it
Oh
unless
my
This is.
unless you wanna unless you want to learn how to run away from things really slowly, then
Oh my god.
there's no then no.
Um. All right. Wasteland Shaman also asked a question. and wants to know, out of curiosity, as somebody who studies Egypt, how familiar you are with the Coptic period and the
Mm.
Islamic period of Egyptian history. Do you know a little
Yeah.
bit about Coptic?
There is a
Uh,
huge Coptic community in like Toledo and Detroit, like back where I grew
oh
up.
wow.
Yeah, there's a ton of like Coptic churches and
Oh cool.
recognize those gold roofs anywhere.
Oh man. That sounds really cool.
Mm.
But yeah, to answer the question, like Egypt has such a long history, like it's like longer than most. And like most of the time when we're talking about Egypt, like we're referring to ancient Egypt. So this is an important question that I sadly don't have much info on. Like the most I can say about Coptic is that it's religious script is based on hieroglyphic text. So like some of the letters in that you
Mm.
can kind of trace back to to ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. So yeah, and like it's in my understanding anyway, like Coptic sects still use that script. So that's like where ancient Egypt the ancient Egyptian language still survives in a in a religious context anyway.
Cool.
But yeah, it's and then the Islamic period. There were some Islamic travelers that visited Egypt and have written about the pyramids. So yeah, most of my knowledge about the Islamic period of Egypt is kind of limited to how they kind of understood ancient Egypt. But yeah, I
Okay.
unfortunately can't answer much more than that.
A very quick.
Chat questions will throw you for a loop. That just means
Yeah,
our chatters are smart and know a lot. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true.
that's true. Yeah, I would
A
love to
really,
learn more though.
yeah, a really quick question from the same person. Have you ever had? I'm gonna say this wrong. Gâteau Basque. It's a kind of cake.
No, actually, yes, I had it at the never an authentic version, and like in the Basque Country, unfortunately. But I did have it at when they were doing their Folklife Festival
Mm.
in 2016. So yeah, I have had it, and it's really good. So yeah, if you can get your hands on it, then definitely try it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Got any more or
That's
go on to the
that's
last
all
one?
that's all that was posted
All right.
in chat specifically. But people keep sending us more questions.
Mm-hmm.
We have a little bit more time with Teo while we queue up something else.
I got some more some more
I've
questions
also got.
from Teo over here. Yeah.
I mean, I've got personal questions too that
Okay.
I mean,
Daisy,
whatever you
ask
want to
one
go
before
off
I
of.
get to this. Ask your personal one before I get to this next one.
Um, of the books visible on screen, which one has been most influential to your academic career?
Oh, that's a good question.
The good
Um,
one.
I have Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales, so that's kind of
Okay,
Nice.
a
so
top out
folklore, OG
question, yeah.
folklorist.
Mm-hmm.
But then I have like an edition of Howard Carter's diary for when he discovered King Tut's tomb.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a pretty interesting read, and then they also have like included as an art book that has pictures of all the treasures that were found in the tomb too. So yeah, that's probably the most relevant book to my research on the shelf behind me, I would say. But yeah, there's a lot of other good fiction behind me. Like there's a ton of Tolkien.
Well, I have a
Of
Yeah.
Tolkien question
course.
actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've heard that you and your wife both have Tolkien tattoos.
Yeah.
First off, I want to say 1, nerds. Number 2, that's adorable. And number 3, what are your Tolkien tattoos?
Well, I actually don't have a Tolkien tattoo.
Oh, okay. Well, your wife does.
Yeah, she does. Her tattoo is a Gandalf's name in Elvish.
Oh,
like
cool.
with the Elvish rune. Yeah. I've been trying to like.
Is that Mithrandir?
Yes, yeah. I think so. Anyway,
Still got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Birds.
Nerd. I've been trying to encourage her to get more Tolkien tattoos. But I do have other tattoos. Just no Tolkien ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
I should go.
What's your
What's that?
favorite tattoo?
Oh man,
Maybe that's too
tough.
hard. Maybe I'll rephrase that. Maybe I won't make you choose your favorite. But what is a tattoo?
What's a tattoo you can share with us without breaking the Twitch terms of service?
Oh
yeah,
God.
exactly.
I think all of them. But I'll show you the first tattoo that I got, which is I don't know if you can see it very well. But it's a Calvin and Hobbes.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
So yeah,
It's great.
yeah, that's a very meaningful comic to me, obviously, but yeah, my other ones are I have an Ankh on my wrist,
Yep.
and then I have 3 Egyptian gods on my
Oh, cool.
on my arm.
Nice.
Who are they?
Um,
Who's that? Who's who?
Yeah. Okay, so Anubis is on top.
Okay.
Sobek is on the below Anubis, and then it's Thoth under Sobek, and yeah, Thoth kind of is good for an academic to have as a tattoo. And then I have a pentagram here, which is kind of my teenage rebellion tattoo that I got when I was 23. So
I feel that.
so yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
But there is, even though you don't have a Tolkien tattoo, you are a big Tolkien fan, correct?
Yes, yeah, I do love Tolkien. So yeah, that is yeah, Tolkien is awesome. Yeah, being with Sarah has only increased that love for
How
Tolkien.
so?
Oh man, we read Tolkien to each other a lot, and like we watch clips from the movies together. Like she knows a lot of them word for word. Like
Cute.
yeah,
Oh my
like
god.
my favorite one that she does is when Galadriel like is tempted by the ring, and like she does the voice really well.
Amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, it's so yeah, I've kind of gained a new appreciation for Tolkien by being with her. So
Well,
yeah,
well,
fun.
chat, you know what time it
Oh.
is. You know what time it is.
Oh.
It's about
This will be
time
fun.
for the tier list. So
Oh,
we have
man.
set up Tolkien like that so far. That is to say, Teo, have you ever done a tier list before?
I've never done one, but I'm familiar with
You're
them.
familiar with them. You're familiar with
Yeah.
them. Yeah. It's something we do on the show all the time. Both because video game nerds and ranking things from everyday life. The tier list is such a great expression of both of those. So
Yeah, for sure.
we have a tier list for you today. And we always talk about this. 9 is like our like magic number when making a tier list. We found that like 9 is the exact perfect number for a tier list. And when we realized there is a group of 9 that you know a lot about, the sleuths and I freaked out. So your tier list today from S to D is Rank the Fellowship.
Oh man.
Do you wanna start with Frodo or end with Frodo?
Oh, I think I know where Frodo's going.
Where's Frodo going?
I'm gonna put Frodo in D.
Wow.
I'm gonna put him there. Yeah. Maybe that's harsh.
You see this new 2021 meta
God.
where a ring bearer can be
Yeah.
in D? Do you believe this?
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I love Elijah Wood, but like Frodo, yeah. Sam though goes in S.
Okay.
for
Okay.
sure.
So what makes? I think we all get why Sam is S, but what makes Frodo D and Sam S in your?
Man, this is probably just personal bias, but like it's Sam did all the work. Like he did most of the work anyway, and like he deserves to be recognized by someone anyway. So like Frodo's better in the books for sure,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's in the movies he's like he's just there, and then he just abandons Sam too heartily, and like yeah, he deserves to be there.
Next we've got I don't want to bias you, but my favorite character, Pippin.
Oh, Pippin. Uh, let's see.
Also,
That's
Chad, if you
tough.
couldn't tell Pippin was my favorite character from those books, you haven't been paying attention.
Oh man. I'm gonna put him in this is tough. I'm gonna put him in B.
Okay,
Uh
I
yeah,
respect that.
I just yeah, I respect what he did with the ants especially like
Yes,
yeah, he was great with that. So but yeah, he goes in B. He's got good taste. So um
and Mary's up next.
man. Uh, let's put Mary in also in B just cuz like I feel like Mary and Pip should always be together.
That's true.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah.
Now is he below? Is it Pippin then Mary or Mary then Pippin?
I'm saying Pippin then Mary, honestly.
Pippin then Mary.
Uh,
Okay, okay.
yeah, for sure.
Uh,
Oh, Gandalf.
Next up, yeah, here comes Gandalf.
Oh, man, Gandalf's got to go S too. I think
That's
he's Gandalf.
He's Gandalf,
Yeah.
exactly. Is he S tier below Sam?
No, I think Gandalf is top.
Oh,
Yeah, I
look,
think
look for his coming at the top of S tier.
yeah.
Next
He's
week. Oh, sorry. Keep talking, Gandalf.
oh no, man. Gandalf. Both Gandalf the Grey and Gandalf the White if there were two of them, I'd put them both at
Hell yeah.
S. I love Gandalf.
Where's Legolas going?
Ah, man. I'll put him A.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, he's valuable.
He's
Yeah,
certainly
he's good.
valuable with his special eyes.
Yeah,
And
he's a sniper.
and where is Gimli going?
I'll put him B too, I think.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could make the same argument that you should like put Legolas and Gimli together, but like, yeah, I'm feeling B for Gimli. I don't really know why.
Where
But,
is he compared to Pippin and Merry?
oh, I think he goes. I think he goes in front of them.
In front of them.
But
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
he's like B plus.
yeah.
I
Plus,
think
like,
I
you
think
can't.
you know what? You know what? I think like book Gimli is smooth A, but I agree with
Yeah.
like movie Gimli being B.
I mean, plus, like, I just feel so bad for him, like, when he's in the mines too. So like,
Yeah.
you got to give him some sympathy. So yeah, he goes there.
And last but not least, we got two men out here for you to
Uh,
rank. So
this is so
first off,
hard.
you wanna do Aragorn first?
Yeah, let's do Aragorn. I'm put him in. Oh man, I feel like I can't put him in S because there's already two people there. But um, nah, why not? I'll put him in S.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aragorn's awesome.
Is he under Sam?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Hell yeah,
Uh,
Very
yeah,
solid S tier stuff.
yeah,
Very solid S tier.
yeah,
And then I love
yeah.
how everything else has been like a screenshot from the movie, and then we've just got like Sean Bean's like Entertainment Weekly cover or something. But we've got Boromir.
Oh man, just for like a sense of order, I'll put him in C.
Okay, to fill out.
Plus, like, yeah, plus
You've spelled
there's
out
like
an F for fellowship. Do you see this?
oh man, that was totally intentional.
Oh my god! What?
What
Yeah.
makes him what makes him miss out on Frodo tier but not make it as high as Pippin and Merry tier?
Man, I he he kind of like he redeems himself like in the Fellowship after like being an asshole to Frodo, but I shouldn't care about that because Frodo's D. But I don't know. He just doesn't bring as much to the table. I
The
feel like it's
Frodo slander.
yeah, the Frodo slander.
New guy
But yeah,
neighbor in the chat says, "I demand the guest be asked to revise. Frodo carried the ring."
And I already know what Teo's gonna say, and Sam carried Frodo.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, Sam was loyal to the end. Like he abandoned his pony, he abandoned his house. Like yeah, it's all Sam. It's all
Flexitron,
about
you were on
Sam.
thin ice with your cursing. Okay. Flexitron said Frodo is a little bitch.
He
You're
had a
on
hard
thin
couple
ice.
of couple of what
I
years?
agree though.
All right,
No,
here the official Fellowship of the Ring F-shaped tier list from Teo
yeah,
Rogers. Teo,
yeah.
on a scale from S to D, how often are you ever late, or are you just arriving whenever you intend to? So everyone, here it is. Screenshot it. Here's your Fellowship tier list. I had a lot of fun doing that and the interview.
Yeah, that was
But people, now that we've reached the end of the interview, I want to ask Teo, you got anything to plug these days?
Oh, plug. Well, I was thinking about my cousin just released a short film
Ooh,
for a movie festival in Spain. So yeah, if you want to give that a watch,
oh, that's
he would
cool.
really appreciate it. Yeah, and
What's it called?
it's called Hijo no hay más que uno. So yeah, it's thank God for sons is the English translation for it. But yeah, it's less than 10 minutes. It's a pretty enjoyable watch, I guess. I think folklorists will really enjoy it
Nice.
too.
Um,
So yeah, I'll plug him for that.
that's a good plug.
Yeah,
That's a great plug.
yeah, and
What's
for
the
my
name of the person?
his name is Pablo Mendizábal. So Mendizabal. So yeah, he's a very talented photographer too. If you want to follow him on
Cool.
Instagram. But yeah, and
That sounds
if
like
you
an
want,
Insta story for sure coming up this week.
yeah. Oh
Oh
man,
yeah.
yeah. I have, yeah. I'll text him about it. But yeah. And then if you want to give me a follow on Instagram, it's just my name at Teo Rogers. I'm very creative on my social media.
And what about at
Oh,
Grendel Gallivants?
yeah, at Grendel Gallivants, and then if you wanna follow Sarah, it's at We Wayfarers.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Teo.
yeah.
Everybody, GG's in chat, ladders in chat if you've got it, screaming or slackjawed thylacine in chat if you've got it, everyone. This is a lot of fun, and I'm glad
Yeah.
we've been in talks about bringing you on since like the early days of the stream. So I'm glad you finally
That's
came.
great.
I'm glad you finally came on.
Oh, well, I'm really glad to have come on, and thanks again for having me. And yeah, it was really fun talking about it and playing Assassin's Creed. So
Hell
yeah,
yeah, hell yeah.
yeah.
especially emotional. Quotes have had meaning on many levels. Making quotes helped me to get a sense of my own space, sense of finding my way, sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.